Defense Minister Del Rusk speaks at a press conference. He considers the Avengers a dangerous military group. Iron Man and Captain America are watching Rask's performance, who train in the Avengers mansion. Cap evades Stark's lasers and impresses Tony into the wall. Stark offers the Captain to take the place of the Avengers leader. At this moment an explosion is heard and the training hall is covered with smoke. Jarvis warns that a poisonous gas has entered the room. Tony picks up the Captain. In his arms, the Captain is poisoned and barely stands on his feet. His skin is red. He looks more like a zombie. Poisonous smoke envelopes the mansion and surrounding streets. People fall to the ground, poisoned by an unknown poison. Stark takes the Captain to the infirmary and orders Jarvis to seal the mansion. Cap sees his reflection in Iron Man's helmet. Tony contacts Thor and tells about what happened. The God of Thunder arrives at the mansion and sees a cloud of gas. He spins his hammer to pull the gas into the funnel. In the infirmary, Wasp, Iron Man, and Black Panther examine the Captain. Jarvis reports that this virus does not analogs. The Wasp falls down without strength. It is also poisoned. Panther realizes that everyone who was in the mansion was poisoned and will soon be in the same condition as the Wasp. Rask calls the Avengers via video link. The Minister blames the Avengers for what happened. Tony tries to convince Rask that it was the heroes who were attacked. Rask decides to end the existence of the Avengers. Army tanks drive up to the mansion. Panther places poison samples in the accelerator. A helicopter arrives at the house. Samson, the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier burst into the mansion. Captain Marvel meets them. The soldier shoots Carol with a grenade launcher. Carol hits her back against the stairs and falls to the floor. Samson rushes at her and hits Carol. She hits her back against a column. Thor carries a cloud of gas away from the city, but he is attacked by the Red Hulk. Captain America opens his eyes in the infirmary and gets out of bed. The Wasp wants to go with him, but falls down. Cap picks her up in his arms. A Winter Soldier enters the infirmary. The Captain activates the protective protocols at home, but the Winter Soldier easily overcomes the protection and attacks Cap. Stark and the Panther are working on a cure. The Panther gets worse and he falls to the floor. Samson appears on the threshold of the laboratory. Stark blocks the doors of the laboratory. Captain Marvel attacks Samson. Thor fights with the Red Hulk at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. The God of Thunder strikes the opponent with lightning, but this does not stop the Red Hulk and he rushes into the attack again. In the training room, the Falcon stumbles upon the Hawkeye. A fight ensues. Barton throws an ultrasonic arrow at the Falcon. The Falcon loses consciousness. Barton contacts Stark. He discovered a device that released gas. Clint says that it is the device was developed for the Ministry of Defense. It turns out that Rask framed the Avengers. Barton loses consciousness. Samson knocks out the door to the laboratory and steps on Stark, but Captain Marvel takes him out of the game, after which he falls exhausted. The Red Hulk throws huge boulders at Thor, then tries to bring down the Statue of Liberty on the Thunder God. Thor throws a hammer at the enemy and the Red Hulk flies over the horizon. Tony introduces medicine to the Avengers, but Captain America is nowhere to be found. The Winter Soldier brings the Captain to Rask's office. The Minister starts beating Cap. Iron Man rushes to help a friend. Jarvis informs that medicine has been introduced to all the Avengers and civilians. The only one who has not yet received the antidote is Captain America. Iron Man is surrounded by fighters and given the command surrender. Tony orders Jarvis to aim at the Captain and shoots a rocket towards Rask's office. The rocket flies into the office window, but the ampoule with the medicine is intercepted by the Winter Soldier. Rask beats the helpless Captain again and again. The Winter Soldier watches this. The Captain gathers the last strength and rushes at Rask. He manages to tear off the mask from the Minister. Under the mask, Rask turns out to be Cap's old opponent, the Red Skull. The Skull beats Cap again, then orders the Winter Soldier to finish him off. The Winter Soldier injects the Captain with medicine. The Skull points a gun at the Winter Soldier, but the Captain comes to his senses. He throws the skulls out of the window, right on the lawn, and knocks the spirit out of the villain with a powerful blow. Stark arrives. Journalists come for him. The Captain returns to Rask's office, but the Winter Soldier is no longer there. The Captain takes an empty ampoule of medicine with him. On the S.H.I.E.L.D. aircraft carrier, the Avengers watch Samson and Falcon being taken away by agents. Stark reports that they will be treated for the effects of the Red Skull. Thor says that he could not find the Red Hulk. Tony reports that the report about Rask is being played on all channels, so the reputation of the Avengers is restored thanks to Captain America. The Captain stands apart from the others and looks at the ampoule with the medicine. We are sent to the past of Captain America. In 1945 year, Captain America and his assistant Bucky Barnes storm the Hydra fortress. While the captain deals with the soldiers outside, Bucky sneaks inside the fortress. The Hydra sniper takes aim at the captain, but Bucky bursts into the room and throws the Hydra soldiers. Then he lowers the drawbridge, Captain standing in front of the bridge. Suddenly one of the soldiers points a machine gun at him, but the bridge lowered by the tanks will fall on the enemy. The captain and the tanks go through the Red Skull laboratory. Here they are developing the most destructive and dangerous weapons in the world. Nowadays, the Winter Soldier stands at the ruins of the Hydra fortress. In front of him is a fragment of a wall with the Hydra emblem. Suddenly a huge robot appears in front of Bucky, which also has a Hydra sign. Captain America visits the Red Skull in prison. The villain is enjoying dinner at this moment. The captain wants to know why the Skull created the Red Hulk and who the Winter Soldier is. The Skull replies that prison will not prevent him from carrying out his plans, and that the captain is to blame for everything. The prison begins to shake. The captain rushes outside, and the Skull starts laughing. Outside, the captain sees that a huge robot is attacking the prison. He orders the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to guard the Skulls, and he gets into the Quinjet. Cap directs the aircraft at the robot and jumps off it. The Quinjet crashes into the robot's head and it falls into the water, but immediately rises. The robot shoots. Captain Marvel and Iron Man fly to the captain's aid. Carol shoots at the robot with light beams, but cannot cause any damage. To him, Stark's repulsors also do not harm the robot. Tony and Carol simultaneously shoot at the robot and they manage to destroy a huge machine. The captain rushes to the Skull chamber, but the villain already managed to escape, leaving only the inscription on the wall. The Avengers gather in the mansion. Stark believes that this was not the only such robot. The Skull, when he was the Minister of Defense, managed to create several such pieces. Tony wants to calculate the location of the robots and destroy them. Captain America asks Stark to give him the opportunity to find a Winter Soldier who may also know about the Skull's plans. Tony reluctantly lets go of a friend, but he advises him to turn to Nick Fury, who understands espionage and can help find the soldier. Cap finds Fury in a shelter and asks for help. Nick refuses at first. In the distant past, Fury and his team had to destroy one of the Hydra bases, but the Winter Soldier intervened in the operation. All Nick's people died that day, and he himself lost an eye. Fury shows the captain footage from various wars, and each the Winter Soldier took part in the military conflict one way or another. The captain again asks the colonel to help him in the search, and Fury agrees. The captain and Fury arrive in the Appalachian Mountains area. At the same time, in one of the mines, the Winter Soldier discovers another giant robot. The robot gets to the surface. Fury is preparing to attack the Winter Soldier, but the Captain America stops him because the soldier is trying to destroy the robot. The captain decides to lower the robot to the cliff and throw it down. The Winter Soldier is on the very edge. The robot shoots at him, but the captain manages to cover the soldier with his shield. The robot falls down and breaks. Cap turns to the Winter Soldier and calls him by name Bucky Barnes. The soldier in response points a gun at Cap, but Nick Fury intervenes and kicks the Winter Soldier aside. Fury fights with Bucky. He throws the colonel aside. The captain enters the fight. He manages to stop the Winter Soldier. Bucky tells that after the explosion, the Red Skull found him and became his teacher. Tanks were frozen between missions. Fury does not believe in this story, but the captain believes that this is definitely the work of the Red Skull. This is his style, to destroy everything good in a person and make a villain. The soldier does not know where the Skull is hiding. His mission is to find everyone, robots, and destroy. Meanwhile, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, and Black Panther inspect Washington in the capital area. Stark can't detect other robots because of the protective screens that the Skull has installed. Suddenly there is a strong hum. The captain informs Tony that he needs to be ready for a new attack. New robots appear out of the water. They occupy the lawn at the Capitol and transform into one giant robot. The Avengers rush to attack, but their weapons are not. It can penetrate the robot's armor. A giant car is approaching the Capitol. Thor and Vision arrive to help the Avengers, but all efforts are not enough to damage the robot. Fury, Cap, and Bucky arrive. Bucky says that serious damage can be inflicted on the robot from the inside. The captain and his old partner jump out of the plane. The robot shoots lasers at them. The captain manages to repel one of the shots and punch a hole in the robot's head. Bucky and Cap get inside the giant mechanism. The rest of the Avengers try to detain the robot outside. Bucky and Cap overcome the protection system and find themselves in the control room of the robot. Here they are already waiting for the Red Skull. Bucky and the Captain fall into a trap. The Skull triumphs. He is going to destroy the Capitol, destroy all the Avengers, and make the Captain his slave. Bucky exerts all his strength and destroys the Skull trap. He damages the power cables. A fire starts in the control room. The Captain attacks the Skulls and beats him. The Avengers see how the robot's head separated from the body and flies away. All together they stop the robot's body, ready to collapse on the Capitol. The Captain continues to fight with the Skull. He realizes that the fight is lost, tries to escape. The floor collapses under the feet of the heroes. Bucky slips, but the Captain manages to catch a friend. The robot's head explodes. The Skull descends by parachute and is caught by the Avengers. The Captain and Bucky, they get out from under the wreckage. The Captain offers the Winter Soldier to join the Avengers, but Bucky refuses. Another explosion is heard. When the smoke clears, Bucky disappears. The Captain returns to his friends. Dear friends, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then put likes and subscribe to the channel. I love everyone. Captain America and Iron Man arrive at the Hunter's base. They have an order from the President. The Avengers demand the release of Bruce Banner. General Ross is furious and does not want to release the Hulk. The Captain tells Ross that Banner is innocent. The General opens the door of the Hulk's cell. The soldiers turn off the gamma radiation extinguishers. The Captain enters the cell. Bruce looks tired but suddenly goes into a rage and turns into a Hulk. The green monster smashes his cell and escapes from prison by destroying the wall. The Avengers are conferring in their mansion. The Captain does not want the Hunters to destroy the Hulk. Stark is trying to detect the green monster with his scanners. Stark and the Captain go down to the laboratory. Tony keeps a suit for the battle with the Hulk there. The Hulk is walking through the forest at this time. Banner is trying to talk to the Hulk, but he does not want to listen to anything. Before Captain America appears as the Hulk, he asks the Hulk to surrender. The Hulk goes into a rage again and throws a tree at the Captain and rushes at Cap. The Captain gives the Avengers the command to attack. Thor knocks the Hulk with a hammer and enters the fray. The Hulk throws Thor aside. The Yellow Man in the Hulkbuster armor arrives and attacks the Green, Vision, Captain Marvel, and Hawkeye also begins to attack. They are joined by the returning Thor. Stark informs the Captain that General Ross has contacted. Ross orders the Avengers to retreat. Hunters will be engaged in catching the Hulk. The Hulk sends Thor over the horizon with a fist, then grabs Vision and throws it at Captain Marvel. The Hulk claps his palms and throws Hawkeye and Wasp away with a shock wave. Only Captain America remains in front of the Hulk. Cap does not want to fight with a friend, but the Hulk will attack Cap in a rage. Then the Red Hulk intervenes in the battle. He saves the Captain and knocks out the Green One. The Red Hulk approaches the Captain and asks him to join the Avengers. The news program shows footage of the exploits of the Red Hulk. General Ross says in an interview that the Red Hulk is the same threat as the Green One. The Avengers are watching the report. Everyone except the Captain believes that the Red Hulk deserves a place in the team. The Captain does not trust the Red Hulk. Cap does not want to throw the banner in the hands of the military. Tony he offers to vote. Iron Man hands the Avengers card to the Red Hulk at the press conference. Captain America is absent from the ceremony. Cap at the Avengers base is trying to find out something about the Red Hulk, but there is very little data. The Red Hulk finds the Captain doing this. The Captain says he does not trust the Red Hulk. Their conversation is interrupted by Hawkeye and the Red Hulk leaves. A small bathyscaphe swims up to the underwater prison of the Shield. Captain America enters the base in scuba gear and turns off the surveillance cameras with the help of the device. Cap finds Banner's camera and breaks the door. In the Avengers mansion, Red Hulk shows the rest of the Avengers that Cap got into Banner's cell and wants to free the Hulk. Captain America examines Banner and notices on his neck a strange device. A wasp flies out of Cap's suit. She trusted the Captain's instinct and wants to help Banner. The Captain asks her to examine the device on Banner's neck. The wasp decreases and flies into the device. It turns out this device is connected in Banner's brain. The device turns on and the Banner begins to turn into the Hulk. The wasp flies out of the device. The Hulk grabs the Captain. The wasp destroys the device and the green monster releases the Cap. The cell door falls. The Avengers, led by the Red Hulk, stand on the threshold. The Green and Red Hulks rush at each other. The shock wave from the collision throws all the Avengers aside. Stark demands an explanation from the Captain. Cap hands Tony the device removed from the neck of the Banner. Stark scans the device. This is a device based on technologies that Stark sold to the military. Red Hulk throws Green. Red takes out the control panel and presses the button, but nothing happens. The Avengers attack the Red Hulk. but the Green Hulk grabs his enemy and jumps out. With him breaking through the ceiling, the captain discovers the control panel on the floor. Two Hulk land in the port. From their landing, glass and neighboring houses fly out of the windows. Two Hulk continue the fight. The Avengers rush to the scene of the fight. The Red Hulk grabs the yacht with passengers. Green Hulk throws a box at him and throws into the water. Green Hulk grabs the yacht and gently lowers it to the ground. Passengers flee. The Red Hulk jumps out of the water. Thor attacks him. Red is preparing to fight the Avengers. Stark first demands that the Red Hulk return the Avengers card to him. The Red Hulk takes out the card with contempt. Tony gives the command and the card turns into a binding substance. Tony has developed this trap in case the Red Hulk turns out to be a villain. The substance envelopes the Red Hulk and restrains his movements. The Red Hulk takes human form. It turns out the Red Hulk was General Ross. The Hulk approaches Ross and raises his fists over him. Thor is preparing to use a hammer to stop the Hulk and prevent him from committing murder. The captain asks the Hulk to spare Ross. The Hulk lowers his hands. The agents put General Ross in a cell in prison. The Avengers are watching this from their mansion. Tony gives the Avengers card to the Hulk. The Hulk leaves, saying that he needs to be alone. The Hulk says that if he needs it, then you just have to call. The Avengers arrive at the base of Kong the Conqueror in full force. Kong has launched a huge reactor. The Hornet strikes Kong the first blow. Iron Man scans the reactor and says that Kong has turned it into a time machine. The reactor must be destroyed as soon as possible. Captain America and Thor attack Kong. Cap hits with a shield. Thor throws his hammer. Kong manages to start the reactor. The Avengers disappear in a flash of light. Only Kong the Conqueror remains at the reactor. The Avengers Quinjet, accompanied by Thor, arrives at the shield base. Captain America and the Wasp meet with Stark. Tony reports strange emissions of chronoenergy around one of the prisoners. Around Kong the Conqueror, Thor and Hawkeye are on duty in Kang's cell. Kong threatens the Asgardian. Thor spins his hammer, but suddenly everything freezes. Before the surprised Conqueror opens portal, 3 of the Kong Council appear in the chamber. They say that the Avengers from this timeline can pose a threat to the entire Kong Council, so the Conqueror must destroy the Avengers in this time. Naga is released and his armor is returned to him. 3 of the Council disappear into the portal. Time returns to normal flow again. Thor steps on Kong again, but he shoots energy beams and knocks the Thunder God off his feet. Captain America and the others see this. Cap rushes to help his friends. The Avengers gather in Kang's cell and prepare for battle. The Conqueror teleports out of the cell. Stark says that Kong can be now at any time. Jarvis reports that the security system in Stark's tower, near the arc reactor, has worked. The Avengers rush there. They find Kong at the reactor and rush into battle. Kong initially throws the heroes away, but then the Hornet manages to strike him. Then Captain America and Thor attack. Stark shouts that it is necessary to destroy the reactor as soon as possible, but Kong manages to launch his. The flow of chronoenergy erases the Avengers. Stark manages to give the command to Jarvis and launch the new Avengers protocol. Jarvis scans the world in search of new recruits. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is going to have lunch on top of the building. He takes out a sandwich, but suddenly notices flashes of strange energy in different parts of the city. Then a plane from World War II flies past him. The Spider realizes that the day will not be easy. At this moment, the bird steals his lunch. Police officers in the city center are attacked by ninjas. One of them points a sword at a policeman, but then an iron fist intervenes and gets into a fight. The fist deals with bandits. Luke Cage calmly watches all this. The fist asks a friend for help, but Cage does not want to strain for free. One of the ninjas and Luke will attack Cage, throws him off with one blow. Cage and Fist head to the Avengers base. The War Machine fights on the streets with a giant tripod robot. The car gets a laser charge and falls to the ground. The creature saves the hero from death. The stone giant throws the tripod into the nearest building. The creature thinks that Tony Stark is in armor, but under the mask of a War Machine, James Rhodes is hiding. Both heroes are looking at Stark's tower. Rhodes says he can't contact Stark. Spider-Man is fighting with a dinosaur. He manages to tie the lizard with a web. 3 smaller dinosaurs rush at the spider. Wolverine appears and distracts the lizards. The dinosaurs rush at Logan and he deals with them. In front of the spider, and a hologram of Iron Man appears as Wolverine. Hologram reports that the Avengers are dead and now, new heroes must take their place. The mansion of the Avengers, Quinjet, and all equipment now on beginners. The heroes gather at the entrance to the Tower Stark. Spider leads the squad inside. Jarvis associated with the new Avengers and tells them about the plans. Kong, Spider, and so forth. Coming to the arc reactor, and I see there is Kong. Spider wants to help plan the attack. But the others listening. Luke Cage first rushes to Kong, but gets a burst of lasers in the chest and flies to the wall. The other heroes rush to Kong. The Conqueror is easy to cope with them. No one can even touch him. Kong thrown out of the new Avengers Stark Tower. Kong pulls his tower in our time. The characters don't know how to stop him. Spidey says that only together they will be able to defeat Kong. Spider has a plan how to turn off the time machine, but he needs to rest distracted Kong. Fighting Machine punches the ceiling of the laboratory and grabs Kong. Together they rise to the sky. Kong is freed from the grip and is about to kill Rhodes. The creature throws Wolverine and Kong. Logan and Kong falling on the asphalt. New Avengers rush to the attack. Spidey makes his way to Arc Reactor. He asks Jarvis how to turn off the machine. Kong, but Jarvis unable to help him. The Spider uses his instincts to take the desired food item from the reactor, and then to reverse the changes of time. Kong teleported back to the reactor. Avengers rush him. Kong attacks the Spider, but there are Captain America and former Avengers. Kong disappears in the reactor. Stark welcomes the new Avengers. Stark, Thor, and Captain America talking with Spider-Man. Tony gives Spider card Avenger. Dear friends, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is important to me. The Sword spaceship explores an anomaly near the sun. A spatial funnel is located here. A Kree Empire warship appears from the funnel and attacks the SHIELD spaceship. 6 more Kree ships take their places nearby. The Falchion commander sends a distress signal to Earth. The signal will go to the base for 8 minutes. The SHIELD ship needs to hold out this time. The Avengers take the signal is sent to the SHIELD aircraft carrier. Miss Marvel, Captain America, and Iron Man interrogate a captive Kree named Marvel. He says that the Empire wants to create a troop transfer point in the solar system. This will lead to the destruction of the sun and the death of all life on planet Earth. Besides, the Kree want to avenge the capture of the Accuser. 6. The ships serve as guides to create a spatial tunnel, and when it is launched, the sun will tear apart. Stark recalls that Kong the Conqueror warned the Avengers about this. The commander of the SHIELD reports that communication with Falchion is lost. Marvel suggests improving the Avengers' Quinjet to get to the sun and close the passage. Marvel and Stark are upgrading the Avengers' ship and their costumes. The Avengers are preparing to depart. Suddenly an attack on the SHIELD aircraft carrier begins. An explosion is heard. Iron Man's sensors are damaged. The Avengers do not see their opponent. Marvel explains that this is the Kree team that came to free Ronan the Accuser. Vision says that the Kree attackers are visible in the ultraviolet spectrum. Hornet and Agent Brandt stay on the aircraft carrier to detain the enemies. The rest of the Avengers board the Quinjet and fly away. Thor covers the departure of the Avengers. Hornet and Agent Brandt are surrounded by Kree. Quinjet dives into subspace and a moment later finds himself next to Falchion. The Kree ship attacks Quinjet. Carol informs that Falchion's shields are disabled. We need to hurry. Thor, Iron Man, Marvel, Vision, and Miss Marvel attack the Kree cruiser. Captain America, Clint, Panther, and Wasp head to Falchion to save the crew. Thor and the rest attack the Kree cruiser, but they can't break through its shields. The captain and his squad get to Falchion. They find a destroyed command room. There is a surviving Dr. Carbo under the rubble. An unknown creature will attack the Avengers. On the SHIELD aircraft carrier, the Hornet attacks the Kree soldiers. The soldiers repel the attack. One of them is preparing to crush the Hornet, but Agent Brandt saves him. The Hornet says that the Kree soldiers are not heading to the prison cells, but to the arsenal, where Ronan's weapons are stored. The Hornet is heading to the arsenal, and Agent runs up to Brandt and says that the Kree had installed an explosive device that would completely destroy the aircraft carrier. The Avengers attack the Kree cruiser, but it is impossible to break through his shield. Iron Man copies the frequency of Marvel's transport beam. This allows him to break through the cruiser's defenses. The Kree ship is damaged. The Avengers break into the ship and throw the Kree soldiers. Captain America and his squad will be attacked by a Kree sentry on Falchion. The Avengers engage in battle. Clint attacks with arrows, but the robot hits the archer with an energy beam. The Black Panther carries Dr. Carbo away from the scene of the fight. The Panther approaches the control panel. Captain America fights with the Sentry. The robot throws him aside. The Sentry goes to the Panther. The Black Panther teleports the Sentry outside the ship, directly into the sun. The Sentry burns down. Captain America contacts Stark and informs him that Falchion has been released. Stark says that they have almost captured the Kree cruiser. The commander of the cruiser says that the Empire has already won. Tony shoots him with a repulsor. Marvel says that they are late. The Kree have started the generator, and soon the entire fleet of the Empire will arrive in the solar system. On the SHIELD aircraft carrier, Kree soldiers bring Ronan his weapon locked in the cell. A Hornet attacks them. A fight ensues. Ronan's hammer falls at his cell. Agent Brandt informs the Hornet that the Kree have installed an explosive device. If it is not turned off, the explosion will destroy New York. The Hornet decreases and leaves the Kree at Ronan's cell. He leaves the cell, picks up the robot and disappears with the rest of the soldiers. The spatial tunnel begins to work. The Avengers have only 6 minutes to destroy it. Marvel says that it will not be possible to blow up the ships from the outside. You need to enter the tunnel and destroy them all, but moving in the tunnel happens instantly, so it's impossible to hit all the targets at once. Hawkeye says that this is a task for him. Marvel suggests using Falchion to give Clint more time, but after the tunnel explodes, Barton will be on the other side, face to face with enemies. Thor and Miss Marvel decide to go with Clint. On the aircraft carrier of the SHIELD, the Hornet examines the bomb and reports that there are 10 seconds left before the explosion. Agent Brandt says that they will not have time to evaluate people. The Hornet pulls out his pistol and shoots the bomb. The bomb disappears. The Hornet played a joke on the agent. Brent punches the Hornet in the face. An explosion is heard on Falchion. The ship loses control and flies straight to the sun. T'Challa remains on board to release the beam cable and help destroy the tunnel. The captain does not want to throw a friend to death, but there is no other choice. All the Avengers gather on the Quinjet. Clint prepares to shoot. The Quinjet flies into the tunnel. Hawkeye captures all targets and launches missiles. The Kree ships are destroyed. The tunnel portal closes. Falchion with T'Challa on board burns in. The sun, the Quinjet with the Avengers on board passes through the tunnel and turns out to be right in front of the space fleet of the Kree Empire. The Avengers Quinjet evades the attack of the Kree fighters. Miss Marvel holds the helm. She says she will not be able to land the ship. The fighters attack again. The charges fall into the Quinjet. The ship falls to pieces and falls to the surface of the planet. Thor pulls one part of the Quinjet out of the water. Clint Barton gets out of there. Stark tries to establish a connection with the Captain America, Miss Marvel, Wasp, Marvel, but to no avail. Thor points to the city where the second part of the Quinjet fell. Cap, Miss Marvel, Wasp and Marvel are selected from the second fragment of the Quinjet. Dr. Carbo is unconscious. Cap and the others are examining an alien city. Cap cannot contact Tony. Marvel says that they ended up on the native planet of the Kree. Now they are in a protected area and it needs to be left immediately. Kree soldiers appear in front of the heroes and point weapons at them. Thor, Iron Man, Vision and Barton are attacked by an underground monster. He swallows Thor, but the God of Thunder knocks out the monster's teeth with a hammer and then forcefully beats him on the head. The monster loses consciousness, the earth shakes and more monsters get out of the ground, and the city. Marvel orders the Kree soldiers to lay down their weapons, but they start shooting. The Wasp and Miss Marvel fly into the air. A shot from a tank hits Miss Marvel and she loses consciousness. The Wasp also lies senseless. Captain America is knocked down by a Kree sentry with a laser shot. The captain and the others come to their senses in closed capsules. Next to them is Marvel and the higher consciousness of the Kree, a supercomputer that controls the entire Kree Empire. Marvel is trying to prove to the higher consciousness that humanity is unique and cannot be destroyed. The higher consciousness agrees with Marvel, but the Kree have their own plans for the Avengers. The higher consciousness wants to spend over the Avengers are experimenting and dissecting them, the capsules. With the Avengers are lowered into the laboratory, Marvel asks the higher consciousness to reconsider the decision, but he does not have the right to vote. Stark and his team fight with the monsters, but those too much. Suddenly appears Fighter Kree and kill monsters. The Avengers getting ready for a fight, but to ship down their friend Black Panther. T'Challa says that when the Quinjet had disappeared in the portal, he used teleportation to move to the fleet Kree, and then find the Avengers was not difficult. T'Challa lucky friends to help Captain America and the rest of their ship attack Fighter Kree. Thor rushes to the attack on the fighters. He carries the ship's Kree with his hammer. Soldiers Kree. The keepers of the spire, you see both of them. Storm clouds gather and lightning, and Thor rushes to the attack. Lightning smites soldiers and sentries Kree. In the laboratory, scientists Kree experiments Captain and the rest. Captain America manages to free himself and he will attack the scientists, but one of the guards shoots him in the back. The captain falls. The soldier raised his weapon, but Stark and the rest of the time to come to the rescue. Hawkeye, the Wasp releases. Marvel breaks a capsule of Ms. Marvel and catches her in his arms. Now the Avengers are going to meet higher consciousness. Higher Suzanne attempts Marvel. The leader of the Kree believes that Marvel a unique mind, but his attachment to people is making him weak. Torture interrupts the Avengers. They attack the higher consciousness, but his shield is impenetrable. Higher consciousness shoot power beams and into Ms. Marvel. Marvel covers shield the girl from the attacks of the higher consciousness. The Avengers continue to attack, but their attacks don't hurt higher consciousness. Thor breaks the wall of the room and bursts into the room. Thor hammer throws and punches the protection of higher consciousness. The Avengers attack all together. Vision connects to the higher consciousness and reads the information. Vision reports that the higher consciousness after the reboot will order the entire Kree army to attack the city. The Avengers will not be able to restrain the onslaught. Marvel shoots at the higher consciousness and damages its connection with the Kree computers. The higher consciousness turns off. Marvel says that consciousness will live, but now it is harmless. Now without the guidance of consciousness, the Kree Empire will collapse. Chaos will begin. The whole Kree race will come to an end. Captain America says that Marvel himself can become an example for his race, can show his relatives how to live differently. A ship with the Avengers on board emerges from a spatial tunnel not far from Earth. The Avengers look at their home planet. Stark tells the captain that they were able to change the fate of an entire civilization, which means they can become an example for Earthlings. Dear friends, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is important to me.